Oh, Mount Rushmore. This is one hard mountain to climb. The only thing harder than climbing Mount Rushmore is deciding what four bands that I would put on my Mount Rushmore of rock, or as we shall call it from this day forward, Mount Rockmore. So what four bands would you put on your Mount Rockmore? Stay tuned for the new episode of Kiss and Tell podcast and find out if your four made our list. Oh. Oh. Hi, and welcome to the Mount Rushmore edition of Kiss and Tell podcast. Today we are going to place the four rock bands on our own personal Mount Rushmore. And also later in the episode, we're going to put the four members of Kiss that we believe belong on Mount Kissmore. So you have options in life. Life is full of options. And you have three options. You can subscribe, comment, or like. And we thank you for your support. And today we're joined by Mike 100,000 Watts and Tommy the Taterbug Barnes. And we're going to get this show rolling. So we're going to go with Mike, and he's going to tell us his number four band on Mount Rushmore.
Okay, Chris, I'm going to send shots out to Keystone, South Dakota, Mount Rushmore. Okay, hypothetically, we're going to be putting four bands up there that we really love. I'm going to start out with Journey. I just want to say, if I'm talking about one of my favorite four bands, I want to talk about Steve Perry in a little band called Journey. I think maybe they should go up on Mount Rushmore, Chris, because I just really love their music, and I think they was an awesome band. Okay,
so we got up on Mike Watts' Mount Rushmore is the band from San Francisco, Steve Perry and Neil Schon, Jonathan Cain, and I can't remember the drummer's name off the top of my head. But a very, very influential and famous band from the late 70s and early 80s, Journey, will be upon Mike Watts' Mount Rushmore. So we're going to go down to Tommy.
Hey, my number four is going to be Kiss. They're awesome. Been a fan of them since I was a kid. They've sold a ton of albums. They put on one heck of a show. The original lineup was my favorite, but they've made do since. So yeah, I definitely put them as my number four pick.
So we got Kiss as one of the faces on Tommy Barnes' Mount Rushmore. So we're up to me. And the first band I'm going to put on my Mount Rushmore is the one and only band from England, Queen, with Freddie Mercury, Brian May, Roger Taylor, John Deacon. I feel like probably the most talented classic rock band of all time. And they were very experimental with their music. They took chances. Sometimes they hit home runs, sometimes they didn't. But they were willing to push the envelope, and their harmonies were second to none, and their sound was very versatile. So my first pick for my Mount Rushmore is Queen. Now we're over back to Mike Watts.
Okay, on my third pick to put over there on Mount Rushmore, I'm going to go with the original Van Halen, a little band from Pasadena, California. I want to go with David Lee Roth and Eddie Van Halen. I want to go with the original lineup on Mount Rushmore.
So on Mike's Mount Rockmore, he's got Journey from California, and now he's got another California band, the mighty Van Halen. Is this with Sammy or just with Dave?
Dave.
Just Dave? Okay.
Just Dave. This time, yes. Sorry, Van Hagar or Van Halen or Sammy Hagar.
It's Van Halen up on Mount Rockmore, not Van Hagar. All right, Bug, you're up.
All right, my number three is going to be Led Zeppelin. They're they just had such a unique sound, and they really got into the whole reverb thing. I mean, they sold over 200 million albums worldwide. You know, I just love their music, so I would definitely put them up there next to Kiss.
All right, so on Tommy's Mount Rockmore, he's got Kiss and the Hammer of the Gods, Led Zeppelin, on his Mount Rockmore so far. Okay, for me, the next band that I'm going to put on my Mount Rockmore is the incomparable Pink Floyd. I think they have the most unique sound in rock history. No other band sounds like them. They were very, experimental. Some people used to call their music space rock because it has a lot of imagery. When you listen to their music and their lyrics, it's a lot of imagery in the sound and in the words that can make you feel like maybe you're in space, I guess. That's why some people used to refer to it as space rock. But psychedelic, yes, exactly. David Gilmour, Roger Waters, one of the original founding members, Sid Barrett. They took the road nobody else took to get where they were because they didn't sound like nobody else. You can listen to a band and say, this band sounds a little bit like this band. Like if you listen to Aerosmith, you could see where they were heavily influenced by the Rolling Stones. But if you listen to Pink Floyd, they weren't influenced by nobody. They made their own way, their own path. So I think that that's very commendable for a band to be able to do that. So my next band on Mount Rockmore is Pink Floyd. So Mike, you're up.
Okay, here we go. On this one, I want the Eagles, a little band from L.A. You've got your Glenn Frey and your Don Henley and your Joe Walsh. I think, Chris, that in 1998 they were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Am I right?
They were inducted. I'm not sure what year, but yeah, I'll take your word for it.
Okay. I'm going to take the Eagles because, they are awesome. Period.
Okay, so Mike's going life in the fast lane and taking the Eagles. Once again, Mike, you picked a band from California. That's your third band from California on Mount Rockmore. All right, Tommy, you're up.
All right. I like a lot more other bands than this, but I got to give them respect. So I'm going to go with the Rolling Stones.
Okay.
This band's been out since 1963. Well, maybe even before then, but I know they released their first one in 63, and they're still touring. It's 2020.
It's crazy, man.
Come on. You got to show some respect to them. Even if you're not the hugest fan of them, you got to give them respect. And just in the 90s on 3 tours, I even looked this up and it said that they brought in $750 million on 3 tours in the 90s.
Wow. Ooh.
That's insane.
Yeah.
But they're the longest running band in history, so I'll give them the number 2 spot.
All right, and Bud goes Rolling Stones. If you think about it, there's only a handful of rock bands left in existence that no matter where they go in the world can still sell out a stadium. And Rolling Stones is one of those bands. No matter where the Rolling Stones go, they're going to sell out. They're stadium, arena, whatever, they're going to sell out. Metallica is going to sell out. AC/DC is going to sell out. U2 is going to sell out.
Yep.
Those bands could go anywhere in the world, and they're going to sell out. So like Tommy says, they deserve a lot of respect, and they were one of the pioneers of rock, no doubt. So Tommy goes Rolling Stones on his Mount Rockmore. My next pick for Mount Rockmore is the one and only Led Zeppelin. Robert Plant, John Bonham on drums. I feel like it's the greatest drummer within the framework of the band in history. John Paul Jones, great bassist. Jimmy Page, one of the great guitar players of all time. And when those four guys got together and played music, they just had this chemistry that was so powerful, so in your face, that you could not deny them. So my next band on my Mount Rockmore is Led Zeppelin. And so we're back at Mike Watts. He's going to unveil his last band on his Mount Rockmore. So Mike, before I get to you, I'm going to recap your pick so far. So Mike has chosen thus far on his Mount Rockmore Journey, Van Halen, and the Eagles. Let's see if he gets out of the state of California on this one.
Well, Chris, for my number one position, this is so terrible. I feel like I'm cheating, but I got to do it. I got three bands that tied. Can I go for it? I got three bands that tied for number one.
So
and then I got like a lot of honorable mentions.
So you're not giving us four bands, you're giving us six, okay?
Yeah. No, I'll try to keep it down to one then. I'll try my best. Yeah, somebody's probably going to be mad at me, especially on Kiss and Tell episodes. It's hard to pick. My number one position is from three bands, but I'll go ahead and just pick one. I'm going, oh goodness, I'm nervous about picking my last one because, oh goodness. I'm going to go before I change my mind. Oh man, I can't believe I'm doing this, Chris.
Do any, mini, money, mo.
Yeah, that's what I basically got to do. Okay. Tommy Lee and Nikki Sixx. Okay. Motley Crue's going to be my number one this time around. They are from LA, but so would be Metallica, and Kiss would be from New York. But I'm going to go ahead and pick Motley Crue as my number one.
You're going to put Motley Crue on Mount Rockmore. Okay, Mike Watts. Yeah, you might get a little backlash for that.
Yeah, you think?
Yeah. I'm going to go out on a limb and say we're going to get a few people commenting on that pick. And I'll probably be one of them.
Yeah.
So tell us why you picked Motley Crue, Mike.
Because they rock out. I've seen them in concert. Their songs rock. I mean, their first two albums rock so hard. They don't need any other albums after that.
Okay, so there you go. Motley Crue. All right. So we're going down to Tommy Taterbug Barnes. He's on his Mount Rockmore so far. He's picked Kiss, Led Zeppelin, and the Rolling Stones.
All right. Well, I didn't pick mine so much as my favorite bands. I picked them, because it's going on Mount Rockmore.
Yeah.
So, you got to give respect. You got to honor what certain things they've done and stuff.
Are you going Motley Crue too, Tommy?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to go Motley Crue. I'm going to go John Cafferty and Beaver Brown.
There you go.
No, my number one has got to be the Pioneers, the Beatles.
The Beatles.
I got to put the Beatles up there. They were some originals. Now the King of Rock and Roll would have been number one if we were doing solos, but since we're doing bands, I get you got to put the Beatles up there.
Okay, so we'll review Tommy's picks. He got Kiss, Led Zeppelin, Rolling Stones, and the Beatles. All those bands were from the 60s and 70s. Okay, when they first started out. So my number one pick, and no, there's not an echo in the building, but it is also my favorite band of all time, the Beatles. John, Paul, George, Ringo, the most famous band to ever hit the stage in the history of music. They've sold over 1 billion records. Their influence is immeasurable. Their music, some of the greatest music ever recorded, and it's just timeless. And one of the things I really liked about the Beatles is they weren't individually that great, as a musician, aside from Paul. Paul's looked at as being one of the top bass players. But John, George, and Ringo, they were just like, yeah, they're pretty good. That's how most people will consider them when talking about their ability to play their instrument. Oh, they're pretty good or whatever. And a lot of people actually will make fun of Ringo. A lot of people dog Ringo and say that he was terrible and all this. But when those guys got together and they played together, that music was magic. So that goes to show you don't have to be able to play your instruments like Rush or like Yes or like Dream Theater to make great music, because you can be just average musicians or pretty good musicians and you can make amazing music. And then on the flip side, you could be amazing musicians and make music that does not affect people in any way. There are people like, whatever. Like a lot of people, when they hear Fish or the Grateful Dead or bands like that, the music really doesn't speak to them for whatever reason. It's not because they're not great musicians, because they are great musicians. But it's something to be said about when people can create chemistry together. And the Beatles, in my opinion, created the greatest chemistry. And that's why I put them in the first position on my Mount Rockmore. So my bands were Queen, Pink Floyd, Led Zeppelin, and the Beatles. Mike's were Journey, Van Halen, the Eagles, and I can't believe I'm about to say this, Motley Crue got on his Mount Rockmore. Okay, so we're going to go around, start with Mike, and we're going to do some honorable mentions now.
Okay, Chris, I got a lot of honorable mentions. Maybe this to get me out of hot water right here. On my honorable mentions, I'm gonna go from like the fifth band on down. I'm gonna give the Beatles number 5. I'm gonna give U2 number 4. I'm gonna give Pink Floyd number 3. I'm gonna give Queen number 2, and I'm gonna give AC/DC number 1. And those would be like my overseas groups that I would want on Mount Rushmore. But okay, I purposely kept my bands that I wanted to put on Mount Rushmore from America. So I feel like my number 1 should have probably been Kiss for me if it was my favorite band of all time. But I picked Motley Crue because y'all put me on the spot like that, and I can't take it back. So, but I think my honorable mentions might get me out of hot water.
Well, I think the Kiss Army is going to have something to say about that Motley Crue pick, Mike. Just a hunch. All right, Tommy, your honorable mentions.
Yeah, my honorable mentions were gonna be Pink Floyd, the Ramones, Velvet Underground. But I got to give some love to the groove music too. I got to go Bob Marley and the Wailers.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And Sly and the Family Stone.
Sly and the Family Stone. Good one, Tommy.
Oh yeah.
All right, so my honorable mentions for my Mount Rockmore was Kiss, the Rolling Stones, AC/DC, and Metallica. Those were my next in line, so to speak. So now we're going from Mount Rockmore to Mount Kissmore. So now we're going to do the same format, one at a time. Mike will go first, then Tommy, then me. And we're going to pick the 4 members that we believe should go on Mount Kissmore. It could be any 4 members that were ever in the band. So, Mike, I know where Mike's going. All right, Mike, you're up, man.
He's going to lick it up.
Hold up. I'm George Washington. We're going our founding father. we're gonna put Vinnie Vincent on your spot.
So Vinnie Vincent goes on Mount Kissmore. All right. Write that
The
down.
first one that stands out.
He's George. He's George Washington.
Oh, Lord.
All right. Tommy, you're up.
Yeah, I'm gonna stay with the original lineup. I'm gonna put Ace on there.
All right. So Spaceman Fraley goes on Mount Kissmore for Tommy. And my first pick for Mount Kissmore is going to be Gene Simmons. All right, Mike, we're back to you.
My second pick, Thomas Jefferson, is getting covered up by Eric Carr. R.I.P. Eric Carr. We love you, Eric Carr.
So Mike's going Eric Carr on drums as Thomas Jefferson. The Fox. All right, Tommy.
All right, next one's gonna be Peter.
All right, Peter Chris.
Yes.
The cat man. All right, my next pick is going to be Paul Stanley, the Star Child. So Gene is George, Paul is Thomas Jefferson, kind of like that picture behind me, right?
Yeah.
All right, Mike, you're up.
Okay, Abraham Lincoln, you're getting covered up with Ace Frehley. Paul Furley, baby, covering Abraham Lincoln up.
Ace Frehley, lead guitar.
Yeah, you got two lead guitars in there right now.
Yeah, Vinny and Ace. That's going to work out splendidly, huh?
Yeah.
Wonder if Vinny can talk Ace into being the rhythm player.
Oh, Lord. Well, no, Eric. I don't think Eric could sing that good.
Yeah, Ace should take a break and
Eric
be the
was pretty
rhythm
good.
player and let Vinny tear it up.
All right, Tommy, you're up, man.
All right, yeah, my next one's going to be Gene.
All right, so far, Tommy is in the original lineup, Ace, Peter, and Gene. My next pick is going to be my favorite member of KISS of all time, and that's the man from Jindal, Ace Frehley. So Ace would be my Teddy Roosevelt. Okay, Mike, you're up.
Peter Chris, go baby driver.
You got two lead guitars and two drummers.
Two drummers. So Mike left off.
That band's gonna rock.
Mike left off Paul and Gene, and he put on Vinny. All right, so Mike's Mount Rushmore is Vinnie Vincent as George Washington, Eric Carr as Thomas Jefferson, Ace Frehley as Teddy Roosevelt.
Yeah.
I can't tell, man, that Ace makeup. I'm like, who the hell is that?
Yeah. But Gene's George, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's George. All right, good. Tommy, you're up for your last pick.
I'm staying with the original lineup, Paul.
So Tommy goes Paul as Abraham Lincoln, Gene as Teddy, Peter as Thomas, and Ace as George. Good. My last pick is Eric Carr. So I got Gene Simmons as George, Thomas Jefferson as Paul, Teddy Roosevelt's Ace, and Abraham Lincoln would be Eric Carr. So
Paul, what's up?
If
Now-
I didn't think it wouldn't sound weird, I
People.
would have replaced two of them with Bruce and Eric.
I was going to ask, what about the members that did not get mentioned, which were Bruce Kulick,
And Eric. Yeah.
Eric Singer,
No.
Eric. No, I mean people that didn't get picked at all.
Oh, no.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mark St. John,
Uh-oh.
and
Mike got Benny on there.
Tommy Thayer.
Yeah.
Hey, that ain't a bad lineup. Ace Frehley and Benny, they can both play.
So
They can really play.
I was listening to another Kiss podcast this week, and one of the guys on there referred to Eric Singer as Cheater Chris.
Oh.
Oh, wow.
I started laughing.
Hey, I would love to have his job.
Yeah, be a hell of a job, man. Now, I watched one of their concerts the other day. The concert is really good. I mean, just the theatrics and the visuals and all that is really good.
Yeah.
But the energy from the band members, I didn't think they had a lot of chemistry either. It's like, I don't know. To me, it's like going through the motions. I don't know. It just didn't seem sincere, even though the show was great. It was a great show. If you go to that show, you're going to say, hey, that was a great show. And it was. But to me, there's something lacking.
Yeah.
So we did our Mount Rockmore. We did our honorable mentions. And we did our Mount Kissmore. And I want to thank you two for being here.
More than happy.
You guys want to give any shout outs while we're here?
Oh, yeah. I'd give shout out to our military, our police, fire, first responders, all of you. Thank you so much for your service. There's more people behind you than there are standing in front of you.
Yes, very true. Very true. Mike, 100,000 watts.
Be kind to one another. And don't get in a rush all the time. Leave early. You won't have to drive so fast. Stop road raging.
Well, thank you for joining us. Remember to rock and roll all night and listen to Kiss and Tell podcast every day.